Hello viewers, this week I went on Gran Turismo and I found this, the race of almost certain destruction, featuring the brand new Super Formula car. This was recently added into the game and they have made it Daily Race B. So let's jump in and witness the sheer atrocities against humanity. Now, first off, it's a grid start. This guy goes a little bit early and we're going to go around this guy. Thank you very much. This guy turning right on a straight, and that is really only the beginning of the aforementioned atrocities that we are about to witness. Through turn one, couple of cars very wide. This is always going to make for a chaotic combo because these cars are just so damn fast. Not quite F1 speed, but they are very quick, and to race them this close is quite difficult, especially with that grid start. We're going to get lunged from oblivion into this left-hander. And then as we head down towards the big braking zone here at the bottom of the hill, this is where I'm going to go for an almighty dive bomb, kind of unintentionally, as we go into the back of this Norwegian guy, albeit quite lightly. But clearly the steward's having a couple of drinks, as we're going to get a penalty for forcing another car off the track, which is very interesting because we hit this guy. We definitely hit him, and that was my fault. I don't think he actually went off the track, and I don't think it really affected him. So very strange. This guy turns right into a left-hander. Got max power there, getting it all crossed up in the wrong way. And towards the final corner, we are going to have to serve this 2-second penalty, and that is going to feel like an eternity. Oh my goodness, the other car there turning right on the straight, and it feels like no one here, including myself, knows how to drive this car, as we're going to concede 10th place, go down into 11th. After that, this guy's smoking out all over the place, and here we're going to utilise the overtake button, with which you can use quite a lot of. There we go, boosting all the way through. We get that position quite easily. Next lap, dead last Del Boy, what a name. Dropping back as, well, I suppose, to actually achieve his name. In towards the final corner, lap number 3 is a 6-lap race. Quite a fast and furious race. This guy, well, max power, taking the Joker lap on the exit of the final turn there and receiving a bit of contact from the car up in front. We're going to get one overtake. Let's try and make it 2 as we tuck into the slipstream in towards first corner, looking for the 100 board from 180 miles an hour down to less than 50 for turn number 1. And you know, the performance of this Super Formula car is absolutely outrageous. Speed you can carry, especially through this middle sector here at Fuji, with these long right-handers. I mean, through here 160 miles an hour down the hill. This final sector feels a lot more awkward in this kind of car because you can't fully capitalise on the aerodynamic capabilities of it, and therefore, yeah, it just feels a little bit clumsy, I would say, through this section of the track. But we are catching up with Scotty now, who's in P6. He has stolen my position, and therefore I must take it back and get it back for their rightful owner. On the exit here, utilising once again the slipstream and the overtake button. And we're going to get the move done quite nicely, moving up into P number 6 with 2 laps to go. On lap number 6 of 6, still in P6, trying to catch up with P5 into the final sector. And there's a remote chance here. The final sector of this track does lend itself to overtaking, and then you have the very long run to the finish line. We're going to go for the move here, get the job done. A little bit wide and slow on the exit. I'm going to have to cover the inside here. On the way through the corner, he's going to nip underneath and perform a nice little switcheroo. The old switcheroo, I think that was. And now it's going to be a drag race to the line with the Alpine liveried car, and we're going to grab P5 on the line by just under a 1/10 of a second. Very, very close indeed. Let's take a look at some of the shenanigans there. That guy turned right immediately at the start. Let's take a look at that. No traction control. This is what happens. Perpendicular meeting with the wall, and that was his race pretty much done. Here's the horrific incident where I absolutely annihilated a driver and sent him off the track. Watch from his POV. There's the contact. As we head round, I mean, he goes off the track there. I mean, that was about 8 years after my contact. But there you go. This was kind of weird, this one. A bit of a knock-on effect from the contact up in front. Gets ghosted out. And then goes through this guy as a ghost and gets a 2-second penalty. Again, stewards enjoying some sort of chemicals up in the stewards room. We're going to change to the Mercedes livery, hoping that this can inspire us to some sort of victory. Let's take a look then. Starting P14, car in front does not get away at all. We're going to have to take evasive action from 14th up to 12th. Let's see what we can do through turn number 1. Always going to be a hot spot for carnage. And that kind of proves to be the case once again. This was really strange, right? Because we got a weird penalty. Oh my god, someone turning right there on the straight. 4-second penalty for forcing another car off the track. But this contact hit him, ghosted. He kind of just stopped dead. And again, didn't really go off the track. Weird one. I mean, yes, I did hit him. There's no denying that. But did he go off the track? Well, no. So, strange behaviour there. And it moved us all the way back down to P12. Lots of work to be done from here. We find ourselves up behind this guy. We're going to have to try to, once again, get on the overtake button coming out of that turn. Feeling a bit of deja vu here. Trying to spot the braking zone just under the shadow here, just after, into this very tight hairpin. And we're going to get the job done. And reclaim P11. As we wind round the final sector here, trying to carry as much speed as possible, getting the line dead right. Not an easy sector to get right. It's, for me, you know, one of my least favourite parts of track in the entire game, because I just am not that great around it. Perhaps I just need to get good. Okay, on the exit, onto the main straight, a very long main straight here at Fuji. We're going to gain 1, 2, maybe 3 positions. The triple kill there, performed to perfection. As we head towards turn 1, I'm going to go defensive to the right hand side, 3 abreast. You might be able to see on the radar. Trying to spot our braking point, keep it narrow, don't get old switcherooed. And boom, that's P8. Good straight for us there. Now on to lap number 5, catching up with a pair of Frenchmen in my quest once again for P6. I say it again. Last race I finished P5, so I don't know actually what I'm talking about. But let's see what we can do. It's really difficult once you once these races really get underway and you're trying to follow another car, it gets very difficult to stay close. Through the final sector it's not as bad because it's slower corners, but through that middle sector, very, very difficult indeed. We're going to try and take an alternative line here to get a good exit, and therefore once again we can utilise the slipstream plus overtake button combo and move our way past. No, not quite. We're going to have to use it a lot more because I think this guy is using his overtake button. And there we go. We're going to go back for the second bite of the cherry. Look for that 100 metre board on the brakes. He's on the outside, not much you can do. I'm going to go a little bit deep. As long as I get on the power here and on the overtake, it's fine. Now, I was looking for the coveted P6. And I wasn't quite close enough to go for the move into this final corner. But we've seen this before, where you can quite easily get a run. And this guy just, I don't even know what that line was. In fact, I got past him so early that he was able to get back into my slipstream, perhaps with the overtake button as well, and come back for a reply. And it was very close, but thankfully, once again, by less than a tenth, maybe even just a quarter of a tenth there, on the line. I'm going to quickly go through this race, starting at the back once again, see if I can avoid getting a very silly penalty for forcing another car off the track. Now this one, playing a bit more patient, just keeping it nice and narrow on the inside, using all of the overtake, or as much as I possibly can here, in towards this left-hander. And boom, that's 14th to 7th in 2 corners, which is not too bad at all. But this is where this race kind of unravelled. Turning left here, just having to give space to this guy, and it unsettled the car. And yeah, that could have been a lot better. I mean, I could have been in P6 and away then, but instead it went the other way. And then on lap 2, getting myself a penalty, going off the track, and the tyres were dirty through here, lack of grip, and it did a nice little 360 no scope to cap that off. So not a very good lap at all. It was a very good first 2 corners, but in the end finishing P7. Now, I thought, you know what, there's only one thing for this. I'm going to have to whip on the Ferrari livery. And this was my attempt to make Italy very proud. And, you know, should I bring a victory for Ferrari, then I was hoping to become an honorary citizen of Italy. But first, I would have to qualify and improve upon my record of no time set. Now through here, look at this, through this long left, or the quick left and then the long right, absolutely flat out. The performance of this car is absolutely outrageous. It's quite crazy. I wouldn't want to think how dead my neck would be if I were to attempt this in real life, or go through that corner at 170 miles an hour. It is absolutely crazy. In towards the final sector, just trying to get this nice and tidy. We're going to get a nice lap on the board and see where we go from there. And the pole position times from the races I've just done were in the high 20s, so 1 minute 20, let's say 0.8, 0.7. I think anything below a 122 would be ideal, at least for a first lap. Let's see what it's going to be as we whiz towards the line. A 21.8, and we've got the Ghost for company now, so let's see if we can improve upon it. Looking for that 100 board. You can brake very late in this car, carry the speed in, back to second gear for the exit, and away you go. That's 2/10 gained against the Ghost. Then this bit, we're going to turn the Ghost off because it's a lot easier to concentrate through this very fast section of the circuit. And carrying maximum speed, 166 miles an hour through the long right. Into the left a little bit wide, carrying the speed as much as possible. Bit of a squirm on the exit, the car not wanting to comply on traction. Actually, I was gaining slightly against the Ghost. Such was the braveness to get on the power so early. Taking a nice line through the right, carrying the speed through the left, back on the power, straight line the exit there. Carry the speed through this awkward right. Could have gone a little bit narrower there as the corner kind of falls away on the exit. Same for this one. Very awkward corner. Can utilise the curb on the way out. Back to the left. Try to get yourself a good exit for the very long straight here. And maximise the curb here on the exit. That was a fairly decent run. No overtake to use on the qualifying lap. That's going to be a 21.3. I could definitely go quicker. I think I could do a 20.9 with a bit more practice. But now, let's begin race number 4, starting in 5th. The Jaguar in front, not going to get a good launch, and this was a kind of a strange characteristic of this race, people not launching off the line properly at all. In towards turn 1, just behind Sir Barry R, of all people to be accompanied by, and Barry R is actually going to go very wide there. And I'm going to do a nice little switcheroo, move up into 3rd, and that's good news. We're going to try and pull away here. Unfortunately, I went a little bit wide on the exit of that left, and as a result, we're going to get a 0.5 second penalty. And therefore, my immediate focus is on trying to eke out as much of a gap as possible to the guys behind so that I can stay in 3rd and not get dragged into a battle for 4th and 5th. And with 1st and 2nd very close company, I was trying to measure my lap time in the previous races, seeing if I was on the pace at the let's say if I was at the front, would I have been able to compete with the guys at the front if I'd been qualifying towards the front? And I felt like my lap times were good in the previous couple of races, albeit, with a lot of traffic. And so this was a good opportunity to have a good battle at the front rather than fighting through. Now, we had a 5-second gap by the time we got to this penalty zone. I do not know what on earth the guys behind were doing. To gain 5 seconds in one lap is kind of outrageous, kind of crazy. Now, the guys in 1st and 2nd, you can see here just trying to break the toe of each other, trying to fight, and therefore this would probably be quite easy for me to catch back up. I mean, already through turn 1, I've probably caught up at least half a second then. And then the guy in 2nd is going to struggle for grip in the dirty air through here. I mean, these 2 corners are very bad for the dirty air. So the leader, you might have spotted, a 0.5 second penalty, also getting all out of shape. And that is going to bring us all into very close contention here. This is going to be very, very close indeed, because a 0.5 second penalty, not obviously it's the smallest penalty you can get, and so I'd have to be very close indeed to capitalise on it. Into the final sector, this is getting very, very close indeed. And here we're going to try and pull off a move as these guys get kind of tangled up with each other. We're going to go for the double. As we head in towards the apex, we kind of both go for the apex at the same time. There's a bit of contact, but I'm through into the lead and performing a nice little double overtake there. And so before even we get to the penalty zone, into the lead. And so this is kind of a position I've not been in this video. I've not been in the lead. I've not had to defend the lead. And so now I'm going to try and utilise the overtake button as much as possible. In fact, I've used up half the overtake I am allocated for this race, and we are only a third of the way in. Now the slipstream is very powerful here. He's going to come right back at me towards first corner, and he looks for the inside, but I'm going to carry the brakes late in a kind of defensive move to make sure I do not get overtaken. So that was okay. I know that through these corners you're going to struggle in the slipstream. The Ferrari looking absolutely incredible, and you know, I'm just doing the business that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz clearly can't do. And so perhaps Ferrari, you know, if you're watching, I'm always available. Do let me know if you're going to sack one of your drivers. I'll happily jump in, because clearly this is what you want, right? You want Ferrari leading the way and just showing everyone who's boss. And we're in full control here. Things looking absolutely incredible as we head through this final sector of lap number 3, heading towards halfway into this race. And I was not quite sure about the pace of this guy behind. He was quick in one of the previous races, but I thought he would come right back at me and attack me, but I was really comfortable here. And in fact, we can whip this one all the way through to the end, because I had an 8 second advantage by the time we get to the end of the race. It was that dominant. And with a victory here, doing Italy proud, I am now an honorary citizen of the country. Ferrari are going to hire me for my services for next year. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Head over to supergt.gg, sign up for my merch. It's coming out very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.